Okay, so today we're talking about something that every car enthusiast on the planet needs to hear. Because the story you've been told about the death of the gas engine, it's not the full story. Right now, Porsche is quietly building a massive factory at the bottom of the world, in the windswept plains of southern Chile, to produce a fuel that could legally keep your V8, your V12, and your classic 911 alive, forever. Now look, if you're like most people, you've accepted the narrative. The EU is banning new gas car sales by 2035. California is following. The writing is on the wall. Gas is dying. EVs are the future. And that gorgeous, naturally aspirated engine sound? It's going to be a museum piece. That's what they want you to believe. But here's what nobody is telling you. There is a fuel being developed right now made from nothing but captured CO2 and water that burns in your existing engine, produces net zero carbon emissions, and fits through every single loophole in the EU's 2035 ban. Oh yeah, the ban that was supposed to kill the gas engine? Porsche found a door left wide open. And not only does this fuel keep new gas engines alive, it potentially makes your 1990s Porsche 911 cleaner than a brand new Tesla. A 30-year-old car, cleaner than a Tesla. The government didn't see this coming. And some of them are genuinely worried. This channel exists to tell you the stories behind the cars, the moves that happen in boardrooms and laboratories that reshape the entire industry. And what Porsche is doing in Chile right now? It's one of the most audacious bets in automotive history. We've gone deep on the science, the politics, the loopholes, and the billion-dollar factory making it all real. Here's what we're breaking down today. First, what exactly is this fuel and how is it made from thin air? Then why a 1990s 911 running this fuel is arguably cleaner than a Tesla. Let's get into it. What is e-fuel and how do you make gas from thin air? Let's start with the science, because once you understand how this fuel is made, the whole story becomes 10 times more mind-blowing. E-fuel, synthetic fuel. Porsche calls it e-fuel, but the technical name is electro-fuel, and the concept is almost poetic in how clean it is. Here's how it works. Step 1, you capture CO2 directly from the atmosphere, not from a factory chimney, not from an exhaust pipe, straight out of the open air, using machines called direct air capture units that essentially act like giant mechanical trees, pulling carbon dioxide out of the sky. Step 2, you use renewable energy to split water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen through a process called electrolysis. In Chile specifically, Porsche chose this location because the Patagonia region has some of the most powerful, consistent winds on Earth. Winds so strong, so constant, that wind turbines there run at nearly 270 days of full capacity per year. Almost no other place on Earth can match that. Step 3, you combine that captured CO2 with that green hydrogen. And what you get out the other end? A liquid hydrocarbon fuel. It looks like gasoline. It smells like gasoline. It pumps like gasoline. Because chemically, it essentially is gasoline. Except it was never pulled from the ground. It was assembled from air and water using clean energy. Now here's where it gets really interesting. When you burn this fuel in an engine, yes, it releases CO2, but that's the same CO2 that was captured from the atmosphere to make it. So the net carbon addition to the atmosphere? Zero. You're not adding new carbon to the cycle. You're just borrowing it, burning it, and putting it back. It's the world's first truly carbon-neutral liquid fuel. And oh yeah, it works in every single combustion engine ever built. No modifications required. Your grandfather's classic car, your track day 911, your V12 Ferrari, all of them. Carbon neutral. Tomorrow. But wait, if this fuel is genuinely carbon neutral, then what does that do to the whole argument that EVs are the clean future? Because this next part is where the entire narrative starts to fall apart. Why a 1990 Porsche 911 on e-fuel beats a brand new Tesla on carbon. Okay, this is the part that makes EV advocates genuinely uncomfortable. But the idea that EVs are automatically universally clean, that is a myth. And the e-fuel story is what exposes it completely. Let's talk about what's called the carbon debt of an electric vehicle. Before a Tesla Model 3 drives a single mile before it leaves the factory floor, it has already generated roughly 8 to 12 tons of CO2. Why? Because manufacturing a large lithium-ion battery is an enormously energy-intensive process. The lithium, cobalt, and nickel inside that battery have to be mined often in regions powered by coal energy. The battery has to be assembled in a factory again, often powered by non-renewable energy. By the time that Tesla arrives at the dealership, it's already carrying a significant carbon debt that it has to pay back through clean miles driven. Now take a 1990 Porsche 911. That car already exists. It's already been manufactured. Its carbon debt was paid off decades ago. Fill it with e-fuel and every single mile it drives from that point forward is carbon neutral. No new mining, no new battery manufacturing, no new carbon debt. Just an air-cooled flat 6 singing at 7,000 revolutions per minute with a net carbon footprint of 0. Oh yeah, the math actually works out. In certain real-world scenarios, keeping a classic car alive on e-fuel genuinely competes with and sometimes beats the lifetime carbon footprint of buying a brand new EV. And this isn't a fringe theory. Porsche themselves commissioned life cycle analysis studies that support exactly this conclusion, which is precisely why the EU, after tremendous lobbying pressure, was forced to include a specific carve-out in their 2035 ban, a loophole, a legal door left wide open. And Porsche walked straight through it. So what exactly is this loophole? And why are governments so worried about it? Because the answer changes everything about the future of the car industry. The legal loophole that keeps V8s and V12 alive forever. Here's the political story, and this is genuinely dramatic. In 2023, the EU passed their law. No new combustion engine cars after 2035. But Germany, Italy, and automakers like Porsche pushed back with one simple argument. If a fuel is carbon neutral, if burning it adds 0 net CO2 to the atmosphere, then banning it makes no scientific sense. You're not banning carbon, you're banning a technology. And the EU couldn't argue with the science. So buried in the final legislation is a clause that says, new combustion engine vehicles may continue after 2035 if they run exclusively on certified carbon-neutral synthetic fuels. That's the loophole. A 2036 Porsche 911 GT3, a 2037 Ferrari V12, a 2040 Lamborghini V10, all perfectly legal, as long as they run on e-fuel. The 2035 ban has an escape hatch, built from science governments couldn't deny. Now, why are governments worried? Because their entire EV strategy is built on one assumption: combustion is dead. If e-fuel works at scale, that argument cracks. Suddenly, it's not EVs versus polluting cars. It's EVs versus carbon-neutral gas cars. That's a much harder fight. Right now, e-fuel costs $10 per liter. But Porsche's Chile facility, producing 130,000 liters today, scales to 550 million by 2030. And when it scales, the cost drops. By 2030, analysts project cost parity with premium petrol at the pump. That's not a dream, that's a real roadmap. Porsche isn't just saving the 911. They're proving the choice between a clean planet and the cars we love is false. You don't have to pick between your V8 and your conscience. The EU said 2035 is the death of the gas engine. Porsche flew to Patagonia and said, not if we have anything to say about it. And honestly, I'm rooting for them. Is e-fuel the future or the last gasp of the past? Drop it in the comments. Hit subscribe for the stories nobody else is telling. Keep that engine running. I'll see you in the next one.